Sam, see, here we are, guys, in the Dixie National Forest, coming to you from the Duck Creek Campground. Story time with Trailbot. The Island of Dr. Moreau, Part 6. What are we doing today, Simpsy? Well, we're just gonna cruise around the little Duck Creek village area, drive around a little bit, show a little boondocky spot, and just kind of cruise around in the forest roads and listen to a story. So, let's get to it. The Island of Dr. Moreau, Chapter 4, At the Schooner's Rail. That night, land was sighted after sundown, and the schooner hove to. Montgomery intimated that was his destination. It was too far to see any details. It seemed to me then simply a low-lying patch of dim blue in the uncertain blue-gray sea. An almost vertical streak of smoke went up from it into the sky. The captain was not on deck when it was sighted. After he had vented his wrath on me, he had staggered below, and I understand he went to sleep on the floor of his own cabin. The mate practically assumed the command. He was the gaunt, taciturn individual we had seen at the wheel. Apparently he, too, was in an evil temper with Montgomery. He took not the slightest notice of either of us. We dined with him in a sulky silence, after a few ineffectual efforts on my part to talk. It struck me, too, that the men regarded my companion and his animals in a singularly unfriendly manner. I found Montgomery very reticent about his purpose with these creatures, and about his destination. And though I was sensible of a growing curiosity, I did not press him. We remained talking on the quarterdeck until the sky was thick with stars, except for an occasional sound in the yellow-lit forecastle, and a moment of animals now and then. The night was very still. The puma lay crouched together, watching us with shining eyes, a black heap in a corner of its cage. The dogs seemed to be asleep. Montgomery produced some cigars. Let's take a look at what we're doing here. Oh, right, okay. So, this is a little parking area they have here. I guess it's staging for you can unload ATVs and whatnot. And they let you just stay right there, too, if you need to, boondock for a while. I think the timing is 9 days, I think is what it says. But we stayed there overnight because we got a late start out of the campground, and I didn't really want to try to fight my way through Vegas at that time of day. Is what we were going to do anyway. So yeah, so this is just a beautiful little spot. There's a great big old meadow, and it wasn't a very busy time of year, so it was no big deal at all. And yeah, we spent the one night and then we boogied on. But okay, let's get back now. Oh boy, I left some cigars right there. He talked to me of London in a tone of half painful reminiscence, asking all kinds of questions about changes that had taken place. He spoke like a man who had loved his life there, and had been suddenly and irrevocably cut off from it. I gossiped as well as I could on this and that, as all the time the strangeness of him was shaping itself in my mind, and I talked, I peered, and as I talked, I peered at his odd, pallid face in the dim light of the binnacle lantern behind me. Then I looked out at the darkling sea, where in the dimness his little island was hidden. This man, it seemed to me, had come out of immensity merely to save my life. Tomorrow he would drop over the side and vanish again out of my existence. Even had it been under commonplace circumstances, it would have made me a trifle thoughtful. But, in the first place, was the singularity. Let's just take a peek. Oh, okay, here's our little boondocking spot. And I saw it there, and it's just a beautiful little spot. And I'm better at picking these spots now. You don't pick the most beautiful spot. Because that one, it turns out that one right there, the locals use that spot to park their trailers, trucks and trailers, and they go ATV and hiking and stuff. So there was a better spot just, about 100 yards across the way. It was kind of an open gravel yard type thing, but nobody used it. So as we were right there, we constantly had vehicles just coming in and parking, and they'd park within 2 or 3 feet of the door because that's where they'd always park, and I was in their spot. So there is some validity to that. We only stayed the one or two nights. Okay, here we go. But in the first place was the singularity of an educated man living on this unknown little island, and coupled with that, the extraordinary nature of his luggage. I found myself repeating the captain's question. What did he want with the beasts? Why, too, had he pretended they were not his, when I had remarked about them at first? Then again, in his personal attendant, there was a bizarre quality which had impressed me profoundly. These circumstances threw a haze of mystery round the man. They laid hold of my imagination and hampered my tongue. Let me take a look again. Oh, I know what we're doing. We're going to check out another little boondocking spot. There's a bunch of them up here. And, if you go down the mountain and just up the road a little bit, there's Zion National Park. So if you wanted to, stay in the general area and not with all the crowds, this is a really good spot. It's up there, though. It's, 9,000 feet or so for sure. And it's kind of remote, and which is good. We like that kind of thing. It's always, we prefer campgrounds now because we don't have dogs anymore. But when we had dogs, this kind of thing was just perfect because no matter what, my dogs have always been a challenge at the campground. I don't have those. I never seem to have the kind of dogs that, will sit there and play poker with you and go get you a beer and that kind of thing. No, my dogs, eat the couch and, regular dog stuff. And, they bark at the campground. So generally we would like to try to find a boondocking spot where we could let them bark if we could stand it. Okay. The guy was weird looking, and it laid hold of my imagination and hampered my tongue. Towards midnight, our talk of London died away, and we stood side by side, leaning over the bulwarks and staring dreamily over the silent starlit sea, each pursuing his own thoughts. It was the atmosphere for sentiment, and I began upon my gratitude. "If I may say it," said I, after a time, "you have saved my life." "Chance," he answered, "just chance. I prefer to make my thanks to the accessible agent." "Thank no one. You had the need, and I had the knowledge. And I injected and fed you as much as I might have collected a specimen. I was bored and wanted something to do. If I'd been jaded that day or hadn't liked your face, well, it's a curious question where you would have been now." This damped my mood a little. At any rate, I began. It's a chance, I tell you, he interrupted, as everything is in a man's life. Only the asses won't see it. Why am I here now, an outcast from civilization, instead of being a happy man enjoying all the pleasures of London? Simply because, 11 years ago, I lost my head for 10 minutes on a foggy night. He stopped. Yes, I said. That's all. We relapsed into silence. Presently he laughed. There's something in this starlight that loosens one's tongue. I'm an ass, and yet somehow I would like to tell you. Whatever you tell me, you may rely upon me keeping to myself, if that's it. He was on the point of beginning, and then shook his head doubtfully. Don't, said I. It is all the same to me. After all, it is better to keep your secret. There's nothing gained but a little relief. If I respect your confidence, if I don't, well, all right, guys, let's call it right there for now. Oh, we found our little shady spot. Thanks so much for coming along. We'll catch you later. See. Is it worth it for the hammock? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, we'll leave you just a few seconds of the big old roadie. You go get 'em, girl. All right, then.